Good morning. Pleasure to be here this morning again. We continue the Maimer Lipater Adam Lechavero, which is in 5732 Tafshin Lamed Bet. Till now, we spoke about the fact that the person cannot leave his friend unless he shares a word of halakha with him, and we said that really a person is not allowed to leave his friend, meaning that we are all intertwined, interconnected, and therefore the only permission you have to be able to leave your friend is only through a word of halakha. So now we have to explain why is it this way, and why specifically halakha, why not any other part of the Torah. We continue to explain that in order to understand this, we have to understand the separation and the departing of the soul from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from Hashem, from the closeness to God, to coming down from level to level, till the soul goes into a physical body. And in this physical envelope, he has a nefesh habahamit, he has an animal soul. Not only that, he becomes completely one, absorbed and immersed in his portion of this world. And at that moment, once he becomes completely immersed, so at that moment, he's one and he's separated from his source. But we said, just like Adam HaRishon did, that the purpose is to elevate Chelko Ba'olam, to elevate your portion, to elevate the animal soul, to elevate the physical body, and everything you had to deal with. Adam HaRishon himself called the animals and the world to bow to Hashem and to recognize Hashem. So obviously this yerida, this coming down to this physical world, is for the purpose of an aliyah, is for the purpose of a elevation of the soul. If not, it's not worth it. It's for, what is it for? We're now in Gimel. Since in order to be able to elevate yourself, you need to first go down. According to the effort and the difficulty that you have, that's how the payment, how the retribution is going to be. וכדי שהעלייה תהיה עלייה עצומה ונפלאה, צריכה גם הירידה שלפניה להיות מעיקר הרמה לדירה המקטע. ולכן בירידה נשמות ישראל למטה גופה ישנו לא רק הסוג די יששכר יושב אוהל לומדי תורה, אלא גם הסוג זבולון בעל עסק, שאינם נמצאים בדלת אמות של תורה, שזוהי ירידה למטה יותר מכללות עניין ירידת הנשמה לעולם הזה הגשמי. So the Rabbi is saying here is that the fact that the soul is going down, there's a proportionate, it's like proportionate. The coming up of the soul, the elevation of the soul has to be something which is proportionate to the descent. Since the elevation of the soul needs to be something which is awesome, therefore the going down in the physical body and in the physical world is going to be something which is awesome. And that's why the soul goes down in the body, in the physical world, and it doesn't come down in a way that we are all just people that study in yeshiva and kollel all day. But rather, it's people that work and people that have to deal with different situations in the world. Amen. אומנם גם על זה נאמר מים רבים לא יוכלו לכבות את העבר ונהרות לא ישטפוה. So it says מים רבים. It says in Shir Hashirim, in the Song of Songs, it talks about the love that we have for Hashem. It says מים רבים, many waters cannot extinguish the love that we have inside the heart. Unearot ishtefua, and rivers will not push it away. כמבואר בתור האור בפרשתנו, שמים רבים כאל טרדות הפרנסה. What, says the Alter Rebbe, is this מים רבים, this multiple waters? These are the problems of parnasa, the struggles of parnasa. ובמיוחד טרדות הפרנסה של בעלי עסק, and specifically the problems of parnasa of business people. ועד שהתורה עצמה מעידה שהם מים רבים. The Torah itself says that these problems are מים רבים, they're waters which are multiple waters. Let's explain. Why? The Rabbi explains that when you go into the sea, when you go in the water, there's a wave coming. What do? You dunk. After you dunk, you put back your head, there's another wave coming. And that's the always a parnasa. I'm just going to make a little parenthesis. What is the curse that was given to the nachash, to the snake?
It's always going to be on the ground by the dust.
The snake is going to eat from the earth. Now, 1 second. This is Gan Eden. The parnasa, the sustenance of the snake, is earth. So I'm going to make that you're going to eat from the earth. So like this, anywhere you go, at any moment, you always have what you need. It's a blessing, it's not a curse. What is a curse? They say about the story about a king, that he sent his son away, and he sent him, and he sends him money every month. He sends him a nice envelope with a nice, amount of money. And his son just doesn't respond. His son doesn't communicate with him. He doesn't hear from him for months. So he asked his advisor what to do. Very simple. Let me take care of it. What did he do? He took the envelope. He says, let me send the envelope. And he took at least half of the money that he usually sends, he took it out. And he sends him the money. The prince responds with a letter, Daddy, thank you very much for the money you sent me. But this month there was only half of what you usually send me. The worst curse is, I don't want to see you, I don't want to hear from you. Just live alone and by yourself, manage by yourself, and you be the center of your life, and you're completely separate from me. So the blessing here is that I love you and I want to hear you. So sometimes we have to understand that the purpose here in the Mayim Rabim is in order to be me'orer et ahava, is in order to awaken that love. I love you anyways. I'm going to share something very personal. It's a very big benefactor of the shul that moved away. 2 years ago, I say very big, very big. Every month he used to give a very large sum of money. And one day to the next, I called him Erev Rosh Hashanah to wish him Shana Tova. He says, Rabbi, liberate me of this obligation. I can't do it anymore. Okay. I'm only thankful. I only have thanks and, And he stopped. It caused a big difficulties. But I tried to reach out to him throughout the year, and he would not be responsive. Not be responsive. I felt a little, flustered, we say, hurt. We have such a good relationship. It was never about money, the way we built our relationship. So I called him. Finally, this year, Erev Rosh Hashanah, I sent him a message. It's very important, please. It's very important you call me. He called me. I said, I want to go on video call. I went on video call. And I said, first of all, if I did anything to offend you, I apologize. That's number one. And second of all, I want to tell you how thankful I am for everything you've done. And we say in Hebrew, Asir Todah. Asir Todah, I'm forever thankful. Forever thankful. What was more important for me was the fact that he was not responding to my calls as a human, not because of the money. I don't care. I don't care. Hashem gives the money. It doesn't matter if he does in the future. It doesn't matter. You know, when you were in a difficulty and somebody took you out of this difficulty with a large hand, you need to be thankful. When you are going through that difficulty of parnasa, of sustenance, this is the time to realize what Hashem has given you till now. This is the time to realize and to thank Him for what He's given you. Because maybe I wasn't thankful. There's a gentleman, a young man I'm working with. Became observant. Now he says that his parnasa is completely in the earth. Everything, no deal finishes, no deal closes, nothing. I asked him, did you give maaser? Did you give 10% to, for... He says, no, I never gave 10%. Okay. I don't want to say, maybe you're now paying the 10%, but maybe it's time for you to recognize where the money is coming from and to thank Hashem. Yeah, I'm thanking Him. Yes, but 1 second. Are you thanking Him with the same proportion that you're telling Him, look, I'm in trouble? In the same level. Sometimes we don't realize the kindnesses that Hashem did for us. And in that sense, מים רבים לא יוכלו לכבות את האהבה. Just this was a parenthesis. But many waters, when they come and the waves come and everything, says, am I willing to fight on because I want to be connected to you? I don't have a separate interest. My main interest is be connected to you. That's really what Hashem wants. So I think that when we shift that in our mind, and we say, you know what? Instead of me crying, why aren't you giving me money? Why is my partner? No. Hashem, I just want to be attached to you. Not, if you give me money, so it's going to be easier for me to be attached to you. If you give me money, I'll be able to give tzedakah. No, I just want to be attached to you. Anything I can do to be attached to you. Because at the end of the day, the reason I didn't send you is because I want to hear from you. But I want it to be sincere. This was just all parentheses. Yeah. So, the Torah itself says that the difficulties of Parnasa are very difficult. There are מים רבים, there are many, many waters. לא יוכלו לכבות את האהבה, ונהרות לא ישטפוה. ואדרבה, כפי שמסיים בדרוש הנ"ל, שדווקא מצד המים רבים מתעוררות מתגלה אהבה בתוקף יותר. Actually, there's something even deeper that's happening. That because of that difficulties, these difficult waters, the love which I have for Hashem is awakened even more so, even more powerfully. וחודרת את כל קומתו ופעולותיו. And it affects everything that a person is doing. Not only when he's serving Hashem, but everything that he's doing now is driven by the love of Hashem. That's what it says. After there was the water, there was the Mabul. So one of the commentaries says, it says, Vatarom HaTeva, mipnei me'amabul. The Teva, the ark of Noach, was elevated from the ground because of the water. Of course, once there's water, before you on the earth. Once there's water, the water grows and it goes about 5.5 meters, right? So you're now 5.5 meters higher than you were before. So the Mayim Rabim, these same waters which are the difficulties of Parnasa, actually bring you to a closer connection to Hashem. And it's true that it affects everything, because once you realize that you only have Hashem, you have no one else, who are you going to turn to? When I had my difficulty with my house, I almost lost my house. So I went to this individual, that millionaire, everybody. I thought, this guy is going to be able to save me. And in the beginning, I was going out of these meetings, right, with no help to save my house. And I was saying, and then I realized, 1 second. Thank you, Hashem. You just made me realize, I thought this was my solution. You're the only solution. And I got this confirmed so many times by nobody wanting to help me. And once I realized, Hashem, the solution is from you, then Hashem found a solution, brought me to a solution that I would never have thought of. Somebody really off the radar. ואדרבה, כלשון הכתוב המובא בהדרוש, בדעת חדרים ימלאו. והדרך האמור לאל, שדווקא מצד הירידה למטה יכולה להיות אחר כך עלייה למעלה באופן של עלייה עצומה ונפלאה ביותר. It's דווקא when you go down to the lowest level, that at that moment you could be projected to the highest possible level. So the difficulty is actually awakening in you something which is much deeper and much more essential. In the addiction language, we would say that it's only when the addict falls to the pits, and sometimes lost his parnasa, lost his house, lost his family, lost his children, lost all connection to anybody, and he only can turn to God, that at that moment, that addict is going to transform his addiction into a power to serve Hashem and to help others.
Yov.
Huh?
Yov.
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 Okay. So that's what it means, that the Aliyah is proportionate to the Yerida. Therefore, when we start looking around us and we see things pushing us, let's not imagine that they're pushing us this way. Imagine that they're pushing us this way. It's a different way of looking at things. Sometimes you get offended by somebody. Sometimes somebody says that comment that irks you. And you feel, my ego is... No, I've been pushed up. I've not been pushed down, I've been pushed up. It's like by Avraham Avinu, 10 nisyonot nitnasa Avraham ve'amad bekulam. It says 10 tests Avraham was tested with, and he stood through all of them. It doesn't say that he overcame the test, the challenges. He stood through. What do you mean to stand through? Stand through means I stood more upright, erect, focused, more directed in the right direction.